Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Instinct. Today, we're going to be looking at how the global elites are destroying the economy and that they have stolen the future of the next generation. Okay. We are living through turmoil, we are living through times of crises, and everything is unfolding in front of us now. You can see what is happening in the Middle East right now. Um, People who are in charge that we have voted in, people who have been elected, people who we thought would work in our favor, work for the people, are making decisions on behalf of us that we have no input in, that we have no say in whatsoever. And those decisions are not benefiting the everyday people. Okay, um, you know, now that the war is going on in Iran, it is going to spike oil prices, which will have a adverse effect on the economy. It will have an impact. You will see, prices of goods skyrocket. You're going to have, shipments and imports that are coming into your country will be more expensive because there is a reduction in the supply line, and you're going to see the stock market's going to take a hit. Okay, I haven't checked today, but I'm sure the stock market is already down with the anticipation of the news of what is going on right now. I think I read earlier that the VIX is spiking, and the VIX is the index that measures the volatility within the stock market. And when the VIX usually spikes, there is either it usually is a mass sell-off. Okay, it is a very volatile market right now, which is due to the news of the current events going on in the world. Let's jump straight into this video.
From the year 2009 till the present, we've been experiencing one of the greatest extended bull runs in history. But if the economy is doing so well, why are we earning less and spending more than our parents and grandparents did?
Well, the reason for that is basically right now we are experiencing a K-shaped economy. What that means is basically that asset prices are going up, so the stock market is going up. Um, the house prices are going up, so everything. If you parked your money in assets, that the value of that is increasing. Why is it increasing? It is due to money printing. Okay, if you understand how central banks work, how the Federal Reserve works, they print money in order to circulate more currency in the economy. But when you print more money, you are actually devaluing, the dollar, the pound, whatever currency you have in your country. You're devaluing it, okay, because there's more of that currency in circulation, which is why the price of those assets are going up, right? Which you can have the um so dollars are becoming less valuable and the price of the assets increases because there's more demand for it, and because there is more money in circulation, so it gets repriced basically. Okay, and a K-shaped economy. So on the other hand, you have the asset prices going up due to inflation, but living standards, the cost of living, people's the way the real economy is working is actually stagnant, or in fact coming down, because people aren't able to, especially the people at the bottom, the poor people, cannot afford things. They are struggling, that they everything's become more and more expensive. um the job market is in disarray, and because of that struggle, because the people are experiencing that struggle, it is described as a K-shaped economy. Usually, well-off people, rich people, are able to park their money in assets, so they get the benefit of the booming part of the economy. And then the people who are at the bottom, they don't benefit in that, and which is why you're seeing a split in how the real economy is, um, it is measured at the moment. And one of the reasons for that is because the people at the top, the elites at the top, they know what is going on. They're able to park their money, while the poor people at the bottom have no idea. They're not in control of what is going on. They aren't privy to that type of information, which is why they struggle. Which is why they, in essence, inflation is people are stealing from you. Okay, because if you could afford a loaf of bread for, let's say, $2, right, but now it costs you $4, right, to buy the same loaf of bread. The loaf of bread is the same, right, but it's doubled in price. Right now it costs $4. The government, in essence, has stolen, you know, twice the amount of money from you, right? The $2 what it was actually worth, plus $2 due to inflation, right? So it is a legal way for the governments, for the people at the top, the elites, to be able to steal that money out of your pocket without you even realizing. Okay, because you know, if the government is very clever, you have slow increases in inflation, so then they're able to take money out of you without you even realizing. Something might be more expensive by 5p, right? 10 cents, 20 cents, right? 30p, right? Slowly and slowly that those prices keep going up, but because it's incremental, you don't really notice it until a couple of years go by and you're like, what the fuck, this used to be $2 and now it's 4, right? And the same if you look at McDonald's, for example. It costs you like 10 $20 just to buy McDonald's these days, right? I remember, you'd be able to get a whole meal for like 3-4 pounds back in the day. Okay, so everything's become more and more expensive because of the K-shaped economy that is taking place in front of our eyes right now.
Why are millennials and Gen Z more likely to experience unhappiness, anxiety, stress, depression, loneliness, and to self-harm than any generation before?
Yeah, they're experiencing more loneliness, more mental health issues because they feel poorer, right? When you feel poorer and you can't take part in the economy, um, you are going to be more depressed. You aren't going to be, feeling less happy because your purchasing power is gone, right? You work hard, in order to enjoy life, but then the enjoyments that you can purchase happening less and less, right? The access to them are, you know, starting to weigh thin. And many people, I mean, that's why, like, when you have, like, I mean, the stock market crash of 1929, which really hurt the US economy and the greater wider economy in the world, it was called the Great Depression. Why? Because people lost a lot of money, because there was unemployment, because there was less, people felt less rich. They were less rich because they lost all the money, they lost their jobs, and then they become depressed, right? So your wealth is linked to your power in the world. Your wealth is linked to how much you can influence and exert your freedoms in the world, right? You have access to more things, so you feel more free. And that is what their elites are trying to do. They're trying to steal your money, your wealth, your future. They're trying to make you more and more depressed, so that you become more and more reliant on the government, because they want to exert total power and control over you.
Of record. If the economy is doing so well, why doesn't it feel like it?
Climate crisis,
housing crisis,
healthcare crisis,
cost of living crisis,
crisis of democracy,
mental health crisis,
debt crisis,
loneliness, happiness.
So you're saying it's because we're lazy?
Well, yeah.
But we've all been told that money doesn't buy you happiness, so none of these bleak statistics can even partially be blamed.
The saying that money doesn't buy you happiness is a lie told by the elites, by mainstream media, by people, so that you don't go chasing wealth, right? If money didn't buy happiness, then why are all these people at the top, who are living the best lives, who have access to all the resources, chasing more and more money, right? Why isn't it enough to be a billionaire? Why are these billionaires now trying to chase trillions of dollars, right? Why are they so obsessed with it? Because, yeah, man, the more money you have, the more power you have in life, and the more power you have, the happier you will be. Okay. Obviously, relationships, friendships, those connections are important, family, those things, right? But when you have money to throw at every situation, those experiences with your family, with your loved ones, those social relationships become more and more impactful, right? Because you have more money, right? You can now pay to take a vacation. Now you can pay to have a fancy dinner. Now you can pay to celebrate properly, right? You can afford better healthcare, right? When your friend is in trouble, right, you can hand him 10 grand and think nothing of it, right? Okay. And that is due to people being wealthy, people having that influence, that power, that ability to buy their way through life. And that is where the power now lies. Okay, that is what humans have decided is what is valuable, right? That is how you can access, right? Even if you want to take part in love, right? If you want to have a dating life, if you want to have a girlfriend, you need money to do that, right? You need to take her out somewhere. You need to be able to uh, visit a fancy restaurant. You need to buy a car to go drive yourself around. Everything costs money. Okay, it costs you $20 when you walk out the house just for taking a breath outside of your house. Okay, if you're going to go eat something like a sandwich, um transportation, all these things cost money. Okay, so when somebody says money doesn't buy you happiness, it is a lie. Okay, money allows you more access to things. It allows you more freedom. Okay, and when you have more freedom in the world, when you feel more free, you feel more relaxed, and eventually you feel more happier, right? So do not listen to these people. They are lying to you. They are trying to distract you so that you don't pursue money and that they will end up getting all the wealth for themselves.
On the rising rates of economic hardship. Apparently. So money doesn't buy you happiness, does it? Turns out, money definitely can buy you happiness. Everyone, or practically everyone, needs a base level of economic security in order to feel comfortable and happy. After that point, though, there are diminishing returns.
What's with the glasses?
To hide my black eyes. Which begs another question. Are there other things that we're commonly misled to believe about the economy? I'm no baseless conspiracy theorist. It doesn't exactly tickle my pickle when people spread vague theories like, they're lying to everybody, man. Everyone. Even you.
And that is the thing, right? That when you try to raise these questions in society, when you talk to your friends about these, when you try to, raise them to the general populace, the general population, they will call you conspiracy theorist. Okay, they will say that, oh, that can't happen. That is, you're just being crazy. You're being paranoid. When the evil elites are literally lying to your face, right? Take Nancy Pelosi, for example. She is part of the Congress, part of Senate, one of the two. And she has access to insider information, right? Which is why she is one of the best stock traders in the world, right? She is literally one of the best stock traders in the world. She's better than Warren Buffett. Okay, she makes more money trading stocks. Because she knows when the economy is about to tank, so she sells all her assets at a high price, and then when she knows the economy is about to recover, right, then she buys all the assets, and then when they pump more money into the system and inflate the currency further, her assets go up. Okay, her and her husband have been for years that they've been putting this scam blatantly, right, blatantly to the American people, to the whole global audience. At this point it's a fucking joke, right? People who trade stocks, who are looped in the market, such as myself, they know that it is a big rigged game. It is a joke. These people are taking the piss out of you, out of us, because they know that they can get away with it, right? They know they can get away with it. They know that this is how they will survive. This is how they will keep power within their families, within their friendship groups. They are part of an elite group of people, and they don't want you or me or you to be part of that. Okay.
You want me to prove it? Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Ain't she supposed to be dead? Or whenever something bad happens to someone, and it's never through any fault of their own. Damn liberals. Instead, let me be clear. The entire financial industry, alongside even our own government, are complicit in rigging the entire economy against everyone except the rich and powerful.
Wow, you don't say.
Yeah, it is. Right, the rich and powerful know that the general public is too stupid to fucking do anything about it. Right, they're too busy with their jobs. They're too busy with, drowning out and numbing themselves with the issues that they face in the world. Right, their family problems, their health problems, their favorite sports team. All these distractions, right, are there for you to, to be fixated over here, while they're stealing your pockets over here. Right. The system is designed for you to be rolled blind. Okay, and I'm somebody who was part of the system. Okay, I thought the world is a fair place. I thought the world is a great place, where the people at the top, the presidents of the world, the leaders of the world, they want the best for the people. I always believed that. And then I'm somebody who worked hard, climbed the corporate ladder, and when I got to the top, I realized that this is a rigged game. Okay, the system is designed for you to fail. The system is designed for you to be enslaved to it, for you to stay trapped inside of it. Okay, like why do you think they hand out 30-year mortgages on houses? When before in the 1950s, you could buy a house on a on an average wage, right, and pay your house off within 5-10 years, right? Like, why do you think now you need 30, 35, 40 years to pay off a mortgage? Okay, it's because they elites are robbing you blind. They are pumping the currency, inflating the value of the currency to oblivion, and you are left there, being a wage slave, being a slave to your mortgage, being trapped in essence, right? Because your family needs a place to live, right? Your children need a place to live. So, you carry on going to your job, pay your mortgage, right? When in essence, it should be paid off within 5-10 years, right? There's no, you know, a house shouldn't take you 30, 40, 50 years, like your whole working life. Okay. Think about it. If you graduate in your 20s, right, and then you retire, like you should retire in your 60s, right? I know they're increasing it into your 70s, but really, like, you should retire in your 60s. Okay. So you should have about 45 years of working, right? As a career, right? So, like, are you telling me, like, 3/4 of your working life should be spent paying off a mortgage? It's a fucking joke. It's a fucking joke. It should be a quarter. Yeah, okay, I understand. I can live with that. But like 3/4 or your whole life, right? And then what happens that if you die, then that debt is passed on to your whoever inherits the house, your children, your wife. It's a rigged game. It is a game that I don't want to be part of. Which is why I'm here. You know, I created this channel to create my own game, to create my own system. Right? I am outside the system. I'm creating a new system, and I'm reaching out to people. I'm reaching out to 100 kings, 100 people who want to become kings, who want to build kingdoms, who want to establish their own rules, form a new elite order, form an order of kings, a royal alliance of kings, who stand by each other's side, shoulder to shoulder, ready to fight these evil people in the world, ready to conquer, ready to buy private islands. Let's form our own countries, right? Why not? Why should the elites be in that place? Okay. And if you think that you aren't capable of it, it's because you have too much self-doubt, right? Every person on earth has the same abilities. Okay. We are all born with a royal divine lineage. We are all born with a raw instinct inside you. Okay. But to access it, you must remove the self-doubt that is holding you back, the fear of failure that is holding you back, which is what I help you with. I'm helping my people, the people who follow me here on this channel. I'm helping them to remove that self-doubt so that they are free to express themselves. Okay. That they are no longer depressed, that they are in their life purpose, that they are accessing all the capabilities and talents that they have within themselves. And once they do that, then they are free to express themselves, be in their life purpose, become subject matter experts, conquer the world, be seen as points of authority, and crown themselves kings. Okay. And once you crown yourself a king, you deserve a kingdom. You should build a kingdom, which is what I am doing here. I am trying to find 100 people to build with, to form alliances with. If you want to be a part of it, let me know.
He raises a good point, actually. We've come to expect that of them. But you know what society doesn't expect? This. But you know what society doesn't expect? This. Or this.
Is that really that important?
Yeah, I mean, look at the price of a Big Mac, right? I can't zoom in on this at the moment, but like, why is the price of a Big Mac going up? The Big Mac has stayed the same all these years, all this time, right? Like, why is it increasing? Okay, and the answer is basically because of inflation, right? You need to understand inflation. You need to understand basic economics to see how the elites are robbing you blind, how the elites are taking money away from you. Okay, the price of a Big Mac has doubled. Okay, let me see the years. Since 2000, right? So in 2000, the price of a Big Mac was $3.39, and now it's nearly £5. Yeah, now it's not $5.60. Okay, why is it increasing? Why are things getting more expensive? It is because of inflation. Okay, normally you see with advancements in technology, with advancements in farming technology, in logistical technology, in storage technology, you should actually see the price of a Big Mac come down, right? The fact that it's going up is because of inflation, right? Your pound, your dollar is not as worth as much as it used to be, okay? And if you understand it, if you don't understand this concept, you will fall behind. Okay, the elites will rob you blind. The elites will take all your resources, right? Like, because they are parking their money in assets, playing the game when during boom and bust cycles, while you are there, thinking that investing in a house with a 40-year mortgage is a good idea, right? I'm telling you now, this is how people will get trapped. This is how people will lose their livelihoods. Many people will suffer. I don't want you to be one, which is why I am forming the Amicis here at Raw Instinct. I want you to join if you believe that you are capable of something great in this life. Okay, everybody has that dream. I want you to reach out and grab it. I want you to live that dream. I want you to be a person who is in charge of their life, who has that autonomy, that freedom to take what is theirs.
No, I mean, in context.
Well, yeah. Society is very intentionally misled or kept unaware about some of the things I'm going to cover in this video. I aim to shed a bright light on the practices of the rich and powerful that they would rather keep in the dark. I am happy, I have a loving family, and I would never aim to my own life, just so we're clear. Here's the truth about money.
Money is not real.
Why does he have to say that he is a happy person, that he will never off himself, that he will never delete himself, end his life? Because once you speak out, you are at risk by the elites. The elites don't want you to have this knowledge. Okay, this is why I am speaking out. I'm not afraid of what will happen to me. I'm not afraid of anybody taking me out. I'm here in a secret location. I'm here ready to fight the elites. I'm ready to go into battle. I'm ready to suffer the consequences, right? I'm not here to make everybody happy. I'm here to find my group of people, the 100 kings that I am looking for. I want you to join me in fighting that good fight against these evil people. It should be us at the top. We should be living the life of luxuries. We should be the ones in charge.
It's not real.
I hate to break it to you, but like, money isn't even real, you know? Who can print money in this country, do you know?
Nope.
What organization is
This is what I mean. That everyday person walking down the street doesn't know who is capable of printing money. It's obviously the Bank of England. This is an English documentary done by an American person, but it is based in England. So yeah, it is done by the Bank of England here in this country because they are the UK central bank. In America, it is the Federal Reserve who prints the currency. And every country has a central bank who is in charge of, looking after currency, keeping interest rates at a reasonable level, and printing money in order to combat, inflation. In order to combat inflation, really, like there's two tools that they can use. They can use interest rates, and they can use, printing currency. Sorry. Yeah. So the everyday person is unaware of this, of how the financial markets work or how the financial system works, right? You need to wake up and know what is going on. So in order for you to protect yourself.
allowed to print money in this country, do you know?
Food industry.
Do you think it should be legal that a private for-profit company can print money?
No.
This is not how money printing works, although we've all been led to believe that it is. Instead, the vast majority of the time, the people actually printing the money are for-profit businesses that just so happen to be extremely hostile to the working class. They call themselves banks. If you've ever gone into your own...
Yeah, and it's not actual banks, it's central banks, right? Like, it's not your retail bank, it's not your Santander's or Barclays banks, right? It is the people who are, running the banks, the central bank, on behalf of government. Okay, so they are linked to government institutions.
overdraft at a bank, you'd of course assume that credit extended you came from the bank, who have to deduct that money from their own balance sheet to compensate. The money for mortgages, student loans, car loans, credit card debt, and even overdrawn bank accounts actually comes out of nowhere. It's thin air. Inflation. It's digital inflation, but the bank actually takes no personal liability whatsoever. Even if you don't end up paying it all back, the bank still makes money from that. So the fact that banks still charge overdraft fees, making billions each year off of society's poorest, is even more distasteful than you might have imagined. It's almost funny to think about if it wasn't actually happening. Thankfully, the greater economy operates far less like a James Bond villain. Instead of benefiting from poor people's misfortune, we can all slightly benefit from each other's success. Because the more people doing well for themselves, the more consumption can occur, which stimulates the economy to grow. A downright wholesome, synergistic situation. Or is it? I have here in my hand a list of financial assets any bank might typically hold. And here in my other hand, a list of financial assets any financial institution might hold. Now, other than being utterly riveting reads, I can assure you, they highlight an uncomfortable truth. Every asset in yellow is debt-based. That's mortgages, car loans, credit card debt, student loans.
Yeah, and so they want you to have debt-based, assets. They want you to have that, to hold that. Basically, they want you to be in debt to the system, right? When you take a car loan, when you use your credit card to purchase things, right? Even now, you can buy Uber Eats on credit. Okay, they want you to be in debt, right? Because when you are in debt to someone, right, they have you by the fucking balls, right? They own your soul, right? Which is a position I do not want you to be in, right? You need to wake up. You need to realize what the fuck is going on. Okay, most people are asleep. Most people have no clue what the fuck is going on. All right, it is a worrying time. It is a place where you don't want to be found in. Okay, you don't want to wake up in 5 years' time when shit really hits the fan and they have AI technology tracking every fucking move, right? And you're still stuck in the system, not understanding how inflation works. Right, that is a terrible place to be.
And yes, even overdrawn bank accounts. Looks like half the economy, but is your debt really that desirable an asset? Well, according to this document, a bank's typical assets are 70 to 85% made up of it. And according to this document, some of the largest financial...
I mean, wait till you find out about fractional banking, fractional banking, right? Where basically if you put 10 grand into your bank, right? The bank doesn't just hold your money there. No, right? You put £10,000 or $10,000 into your account. The bank holds that money for a day, then takes 9,000 and invests in the stock market for itself, right? So it's using your money, right, to go then play the stock market, right, and then double that money, right, and then give you your money, right? And if you're lucky, you get like maybe less than a percentage in terms of an interest on your savings, right? While the bank makes that 100%, right? And then it posts that money as a profit, okay, right? So fractional banking is a rigged game, right? If you are part of the banking system, if you are part of those companies, right, you're great because you get to play the stock market, you get to play in assets, invest in money, you know, using other people's money, right? So they're not using their own, they're using other people's, and they are, you know, making a profit on your hard-earned savings.
institutions in our economy is made up of primarily debt. So yes, your debt is very, very desirable indeed. Hey, you might not know it by looking at me, but I'm actually really deeply in debt. Look. So I was wondering if you might want to grab some dinner later. You'd have to pay for it, of course. This isn't really an issue though, at least on paper. If people want to profit from interest payments on potentially low-risk consumer debt, then why not let them? It's a free market. Some of our own pensions do exactly this. There are, however...
If there was a stock market crash today, all those pension funds will go to zero, right? Many people, if they, because currently we are living through an AI bubble. Once that bubble pops, many people will lose their pension funds because pension funds invest the money that gets paid into a pension fund is then used to invest into stocks. Okay. And then if those stocks underperform, then people lose their money, right? You don't get to recoup that money, right? Like many people will in the future, in the near future, I believe there will be a stock market crash in the next 5 years, so big that most people will really, really suffer. Okay, and then the government will swoop in to play the hero to, save the people, But in essence, all you're doing is signing your life away to them, and then you are not in control of your own life anymore. Okay, they are trying to control you. They are trying to exert power and influence over you. And the best way to do it is if you are dependent on them. Okay, which is why you need autonomy. You need to build your own kingdom to stay safe, so that you are isolated and insulated away from all these problems that are about to occur.
Some not so great side effects of valuing debt so much in our economy. If you've ever wondered why politician after politician is seemingly worse than useless, each just making things worse than they were before, then this infatuation with debt in our economy might go away to explain the madness of it a little. It's just business.
What is the first thing you would like to do as president?
Folks, let me tell you, first thing, and it's a big one, no more income tax. Gone. Just like that. People have been getting...
I mean, if that was the case, right? If there was no more income tax, do you know how great that would be for the economy, right? People will be able to work, earn their money, and then keep all of it, right? And you might say, like, well, the government spends money on, like the roads, infrastructure, healthcare here in the UK, for example. How would a government then get money, basically? Okay, but because there's more money going through the economy, you'll be able to then, what you should do is tax at the point of spending, right? So every time you buy something, there should be a sales tax, and that is the taxation, right? So every time a transaction occurs, there's taxation on it, and then the government's able to recoup that money, right? They get their little cut for something happening in the economy, because a transaction has occurred in their economy, their country, so they're entitled to a percentage, right? And then that's how they make their money, right? I'll be happy, right, if there was no income tax, right? I'll be happy with a 10% sales tax, okay? And then 10%, right, of every transaction, the government gets their cut, right? Great, okay, because then you're in charge of what you buy, what you purchase, right? And then the government gets their cut, and then all the money that they use, go spend it on the public sector, on public goods, right? And for the benefit of the public, right? I would have no problem with that. That is how the economy should be run.
Ripped off for years. Terrible system, very corrupt. So guess what? Hardworking Americans, you get to keep your money. Does that sound like a good idea?
But how will the government continue to fund essential services?
It's easy, so easy. A beautiful, simple plan, really. No more getting ripped off in our trade deals. I know a little something about making a deal, but we take so much of theirs, and they take so very little of ours. So now, through tariffs, China pays, Europe pays, Canada, who, by the way, very unfair to us, pays. People are calling me, they say, sir, this is genius, and I don't like to brag, I'm kind of a humble guy.
But this will lead to more expensive consumer goods.
This is the price of freedom. Do you like freedom? I like freedom.
It's just that this makes it very likely that the poor and middle class will end up paying even more taxes than they were before.
No, fake news.
Obviously, he's taking the piss out of Donald Trump there. He's not doing a very good job. I really think, the guy is doing a good job in terms of giving us the information about certain things. But I don't like these little jokes he's making, because he's not very funny, right? Like he looks half dead. He has no clue what the fuck is going on. Let's fast forward it a little bit.
Means the economy benefits from a high percentage of its population being in debt, because debt is literally the fuel to stimulate financial markets, to invest, to generate profits, and that has a knock-on effect beneficially for the rest of the economy. And long term, there's no downsides to this. Just joking. It leads to more inequality, more recessions, and if left unchecked will be the collapse of society as we know it. Now, I could come down really hard on our political leaders for ineptitude, for intentionally making things worse for personal gain, or for simply getting paid by donations to do so, but I don't know if they're entirely to blame. Hanlon's razor is a philosophical principle which states that we should never attribute to malice that which can be adequately explained by ignorance, stupidity. Considering then that inequality has been an issue all throughout human history, I'm going to assume we just don't know any better way of doing things. Although closing some of the loopholes the rich use to avoid paying tax does seem like a no-brainer.
Yeah, and that is how the elite survive. They are able to use loopholes, tax loopholes. They're able to park their money in places where they are outside the jurisdiction of general taxation, right? They set up trusts, they set up family banks, family private banking systems in order for them to, funnel their money overseas into a, like the Cayman Islands, like the Isle of Man, like these type of places where there are tax-free jurisdictions. They set up limited companies there, and then those are the holding companies, and then they siphon the money through several other underlying subsidiaries in order for them to keep passing the money up into a jurisdiction that is outside of your country, and that is how they funnel money outside. Okay, they are, you know, they're using the system, they're using those systems in place for them to, find ways to save money, right? While they expect you to give over at least 40-50% of your income as tax, right? So your hard work gets taxed while they find loopholes to benefit from. Okay, do you think that is fair? Do you think that is a fair system, right? I believe it is not. Okay, which is why we need to leave the system. This is why we are here establishing our own kingdom, so that we can stay safe, so that we can recoup all the efforts, all the hard work that we put in, that we get all the rewards, all the money, and that we aren't funding these evil people at the top who are, literally see us as scum. They see us as dirt on the shoe. That is not how I want to live my life. That is not how you should live your life. If you agree with me, let me know.
Now, you may be tempted into thinking, as I was initially, that we're criticizing the obvious here, and there's no point educating ourselves further about it, because at the end of the day, politicians are always going to be corrupt. The banking industry is far too complex for us to ever understand. And the thing ultimately that's to blame for all of this is not corporate CEOs. No, it's money itself, an inanimate object. Now that sounds stupid, but that's exactly what we're taught. Allow me to demonstrate. The Bible says that money is the root of all evil. Except it doesn't. That's a misquotation. It actually says that the love of money is the root of all evil. I'm going to need my car for this next one. You know that image of someone having a carrot dangled in front of them with a stick? It gives us this image that no matter how hard that person run, or the metaphor being, no matter how hard that person works, as long as they stay in their lane, they will never get that carrot or make the amount of money.
Exactly, right. The elites are dangling a carrot in front of you. If you're always chasing it and staying in your lane, right, you will never reach the carrot. Okay, I want you to have a carrot. I want you to be free. I want you to experience wealth. I want you to experience a life of luxury. Okay, if you want to get there and actually experience it for yourself, you have to switch lanes. You have to leave the system, right? You can't just be chasing a dangling carrot. Okay, we aren't just going for a single carrot. We're going for a field of carrots. We are going for it all. That is what we are doing here at Raw Instinct. We are going for everything. We are going for the top. Okay. The elites cannot control us. The elites cannot defeat us. We are indefeatable. Okay, we are invincible. We are smarter than them. We are coming up with new creative ideas. We are coming up with new ideas, a new way, new energy sources that is outside the system. Okay, we have scientists working in the background. I want you to be a part of it. We are setting up new companies to take over the globe, to restore the power in the world. The power will lie within us. We are the people in charge. We will win. We will be the best people in the world, live the best lives. And if you believe that you are worthy of that, if you want to be a part of it, okay, if you don't want to be a bystander and actually be the hero in the movie, this is your opportunity. Now, I want you to reach out. Let me know.
That they want to make. Now, we're often taught to blame the carrot for this problem, or ourselves, which, to be fair, there's a good degree of self-analysis necessary. But how come we never look at the person with the stick? Or how about the metaphor of jobs being like an endless escalator that you just keep coming on to? And that's the problem, not with the people that actually design the things. Hope you can see where I'm going with this. Or the most popular image surrounding money in our cultural zeitgeist, it being akin to a cheese that lures people into the trap of working every day. Ergo, the issue must be with yourself or with money. and not with the makers of the trap itself. But the moment we think about how we'd pay for groceries using anything else, my point exactly. Money is extremely convenient and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and we all know it. On some level, we're being distracted from looking deeply into the real cause of the issues in the economy. We're tempted to blame ourselves, or even an inanimate object, for any perceived grievances. Now, whether this is intentionally done or not, it's still no less convenient a situation for the financial elite. Let's take Sheila, for example. She works at a large company and she works hard, but she has no notion of how much money her efforts generate for the company day after day. Despite working there for years, she's never once directly profited off of anything she does. But at the end of each month, her boss gives her a number that's meant to represent fair compensation for the value she's brought to his company.
And you have to remember that when you work for a company, right? Like, say if you make $100,000 a year, right? That company needs you to bring in $1 million, right? The work that you put in has to be 10 times greater than the salary that you get, right? That is how they calculate wages, right? So if you're not bringing in $1 million worth of revenue, right, to the company, $1 million worth of profit, why should they give you $100,000, right? You might think $100,000 is a lot of money, right? But you have to make $1 million for the company in order for them to make it worthwhile their time. Okay. Why not work as hard as you're working now and get the full million, right? You are selling yourself short. Okay. You are not valuing yourself. You need to rate yourself higher. You need to have less self-doubt. Okay. You need to let go of your fears and embrace what you are actually worth and go for it all, which is why we are here becoming subject matter experts so that we become authorities, that we are seen as people who are, you know, seen as authorities, so people defer to us, because once you have that kind of power, it is natural that you will become rich. It is natural that you will make a lot of money. That is what I want from you. That is what I want for you. That is how we will be successful.
A little soulless and impersonal, maybe, but far more serious a problem than that. The number feels quite small to her. Despite working hard, she's not confident about making any strong wage increase demands because she has no idea if this figure is fair compensation. She suspects it isn't, but can't.
I mean, even if she was to ask for a wage increase, the maximum she could ask for is 10%. So if she's making 50,000, she can ask for 5,000. She might play hardball and be like, okay, I want 20,000, right? And they might meet her, a $10,000 increase, a 20% increase. Okay. Yeah, man, like, a lot of people are underselling themselves. If you realize what you're actually worth, you would go into business for yourself. Obviously, there's a risk, right? But we here at Raw Instinct, we are not afraid of risk. We embrace risk. We go into the darkness. We go for everything. We battle every battle that there is to be fought, and we always win because we embrace challenges, we embrace obstacles. And here with the other fellow kings that we have at our disposal, the armies that we are raising, we will be victorious because we have the capacity to win.
Prove it. I would describe this incredibly relatable scenario as socially acceptable exploitation. But just because someone might feel obligated to put up with an annoying job because an annoying job is better than no job, still doesn't make it any less exploitative or annoying. Why shouldn't it be a law to allow an employee from seeing the value they provide to their company if they request it?
Yeah, because if employees actually knew what value that they were providing, there'll be a revolt, right? If most people knew, right, that they are making 10 times the amount of money for that company than they are being paid, right, there will be a revolt. Okay, think about it. Like, if you get an annual salary of $30,000, right, that means you're making about $300,000 for that company, right? I mean, shouldn't you get access to at least to a third of that money, right? Like, that's a fair exchange, right? You keep 66%, I will get 34%. Isn't that fair? Right? But no, these companies are greedy. They get greedy because there are so many people who are willing to be wage slaves. Okay. And that is what I don't want. I don't want that for you. I don't want you to be a wage slave. I want you to resurrect and become a king. Okay, become a king, establish your kingdom, be somebody who is worthy of making maximum money. Okay, don't make the minimum amount, make the maximum amount now.
Pardon me?
And why is it such a common practice by companies to prohibit their workforces from discussing their salaries with one another, despite this being entirely illegal? It's not like this is based on advice from the world's largest consultancy firm, literally teaching CEOs how to better exploit their workforces. No, money's to blame. This is a chart by McKinsey Consultancy. Ironic considering they're responsible for a lot of what this chart is depicting. But we see that ever since the 1960s, the working class's share of all income earned is falling, and it's falling at an increased rate. They do, however...
Let's just quickly go back. Hang on. Okay, let's have a look at this. So, for the decrease in labor share in the United States since 47 has come since 2000. Labor share of non-farm business sector total compensation share of gross value added. So here you have the years at the bottom. There you have the amount of wages. So before, in the 1950s, the workers used to get between around 60, let's say 60% of the money made, right? The company would pocket 40%. The workers would get 60% of the wages split amongst themselves, right? And every year, every decade, it's been coming down. And since 2000, it just really the floor just drops in, right? You're literally seeing it plummet right down to, just above 56%, around 56%, basically, right? So the amount of people, and if you have to think about it, that more and more people are in employment, more females are in employment. So the actual wage is even less than what is depicted here. Okay.
Ever since the 1960s.
And it is a system designed for you, for you to not make any money, for you to struggle, for everything else is getting more expensive, wages are increasing, everything else is falling to shit. All right. Are you just not fed up at this point? Are you just not fed up? Okay. Do you want to continue being in this system that suppresses you, that depresses you, a system where you will never win? Okay. The choice is yours, man. Like I'm here, I'm not here to wake everyone up. I'm not here to tell everybody like, oh yeah, join my fucking course. I'm like, nah, man. Like I'm looking for 100 people, right? And you have to be quality. You have to have the same values as me, share these same beliefs as me. You have to have that, kingly instinct within you to want to be something greater than what you are right now. Okay. And if you have that within yourself, then you are worthy to join, then you are worthy to stand by my side alongside myself for me to consider you a friend. Okay. Think about all the friends that you have, all the shit that you talk about. Is it even worthy of what kings talk about? Probably not. Okay. So whatever you're doing now, it is failing you, it is failing your people, it is failing your lineage. Okay. You are betraying yourself. And I don't want you to
The working class's share of all income earned is falling, and it's falling at an increased rate. They do, however, argue that this is very little to do with people being paid less, which is funny seeing how their business model is advising CEOs how to pay their employees less, often with highly immoral advice. But business appears to be booming, with CEOs making 350 times more than typical workers. And this trend of ever higher and higher CEO salaries started in, would you believe it, the same time employee wages stopped rising. This infamous chart shows that work.
So the people at the top, the CEOs of these companies, they are making more and more money compared to the workers who are doing the actual work, right? The CEO, great, you're the decision maker, right? But the people who are actually putting in their blood, sweat, and tears into the project, they get less and less, right? I want you to be in the position of a CEO. I want you to be in the position of a person who is a leader, right? I don't want you to be a worker bee. I want you to be a king. That is what we are doing here. That is how you get maximum money, maximum respect. That is how you build a harem. That is how you get quality women in your life, okay? All the problems in your life will go away if you treat yourself as a king, if you see yourself as a king, if you remove all the self-doubt and fears that you have within yourself, okay? And that is what I'm here to help you with. If you want to be a part of it, let me know.
Salaries were highly correlated to the value they brought, but in the late 1960s, early 70s, they decoupled from one another. Despite a steady rise in workers' productivity, salaries have not kept pace and have stagnated for decades now. Although I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this chart is disputed. Measuring productivity, it's a bit of a nightmare, and the methodology used here, despite coming from a respected source, is a bit of a joke among economists. You guys saw that chart from the Economic Policy Institute too? They measured productivity, but they conflated income metrics. They use a static linear interpretation that completely disregards exogenous factors and temporal variables. Poor dears got confused by the heterogeneity of expectations and heteroscedasticity in the stochastic discount floor.
Embarrassing.
Despite the surprising fact that humor apparently does exist in macroeconomics, this chart is not funny. Gets me every time. Cut that part out. Despite there being a great debate on the exact size of the productivity pay gap, economists can agree at least that one exists and that it is getting bigger. Thank you for confirming the obvious. But listen, I'm going to need you to come a little closer. Pay attention to the implications that stem from this obvious fact. This means that the vast majority of the population are in real time getting poorer despite working. How long do we expect that can continue for? Eventually, it could threaten to destroy society as we know it. You know what?
The evil elites don't care if they destroy society. That is what they want. That is their big plan. They want to destroy you, destroy civilization. They are getting ready for you to be replaced by an AI robot, by AI itself. Okay, because AI never sleeps. AI doesn't complain. AI does what it is told. And AI doesn't have any problems, right? AI isn't human, so you can treat it like piece of shit and it doesn't matter because AI is just a fucking program, right? That is what the elites want. They want to have their little system of the world keep running, right? But the workers at the bottom who they have to pay, right? Once AI is there, they will be reducing, wage costs by 90%, right? Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Right. But let me tell you what, you as a normal person, you're not going to be experiencing the benefits of that. That is why you need to get out the system now while you still can. Buy a private island. Okay. And, if you think, how the fuck am I going to afford a private island? Right. You need to become a subject matter expert. You need to be seen as a king, as a point of authority. You need to establish a kingdom. And that is how we become kings. That is how we win this game.
Cue the dramatic music. People need to hear this.
Until the working class learn to bend the economy to their own benefit, the enemy of the working class is the economy itself, and all the agents who in their twisted wisdom seek to prop it up. The economy is designed for a few to become ultra-rich and the rest impoverished. Intentionally. You never played Monopoly. It's unsustainable. That's why the rich are building underground bunkers.
No one's listening. Let me try a more personal approach. Hey, you on Facebook? No? Well, did you know Mark Zuckerberg and a bunch of other billionaires are building for themselves self-sustaining nuclear underground bunkers? I mean, what's...
Yeah, I think if you catched my video, I think it was yesterday about Theo Von, 2 days ago, we saw Mark Zuckerberg is building a bunker. Sam Altman's building a bunker. Why are they building a bunker? Because they know what will happen, that there will be a revolution, that people will revolt. But the people at the top will hide. They will hide. They will try and kill you off with nuclear waste. Okay, they will they will literally bomb you with nuclear bombs, right? And then, once everything is safe, they will come out. You'll be dead, right? You'll be dead. They're trying to kill you off. They don't give a fuck about you. Okay, they are trying to take over the globe. They are trying to take everything, all the resources for themselves. And if you don't want to be a loser, if you want to survive, if you want your family to survive, your children to survive, you need to do something about it. Okay, you can't be a scared little fucking bitch in the background, okay, hoping that things will work out. Okay, Donald Trump will save me. No, he won't. Elon Musk won't save you. Donald Trump won't save you. Sam Altman won't save you, right? Jeff Bezos won't save you. These people are literally waiting and praying for your downfall. Okay, it is your choice if you want to step up and do something about it, because if you don't, who will? right? The world, there's no heroes in the world anymore. Okay, the world needs more heroes. The world needs more people who are willing to, go out there and sacrifice. Right? I come on it every day. I'm like, look, man, like I want you to fucking wake up. I want you to join me. Join my alliance. Join the armies that we are building. Okay, right? And if you don't want to be part of that, okay, great. Go back to whatever fuck you're doing. Right? Be a fucking loser. Right? You're gonna get raped, literally raped by the system. Okay, there's no better way of putting it. Right? You are going to be fucked. Right? The elites are waiting to lube up your arsehole, right, and waiting to literally shove their fucking fist in it. Okay, right? You're not even worthy for them to put their cock in it. Right? They're literally gonna fist you into oblivion. Right? And you're gonna be like, oh, thank you, mate. Thank you, elites. Can I have $1 now? Right, you literally be begging for fucking money, right? It's gonna be a sad state of affairs, right? That is why I'm coming up with a new alternative system, right? And but I can't do it by myself. I need you. I need you to join me. I need you to be brave, right? I am assembling the Avengers. I am sending out a bat signal, okay? And if you understand what it is that I'm doing, if you understand what it is that I'm saying, I want you to join me. I want you to fight alongside me when the wars to come, that we will go into battle together to protect the
What's up with
earth.
that? Do they know something we don't? I imagine it'd be a good way to die, though. A nuclear explosion, nice and quick. So, do you come here often? Despite the importance of my message, I recruited no new followers. I struck out with literally everyone. But it did remind me of something a great philosopher.
Yeah, of course he's not going to get no followers. He's not very funny. He's not very charismatic. And he's not looking in the right places. This is why the internet is here, right? I am sending out a message, a broadcast. This is the bat signal. This is the moment in the film where you decide whether you want to get up off your ass and become somebody who is worthy of that attention, of being a king, right? Or whether you want to be the main character, whether you want to be the main hero, or this is the moment where you think, oh, this is too scary, and you fade into the background. You become just an NPC, right? A background character that nobody knows what their name is. Okay. And then, don't complain when you're lonely then. Don't complain that you got no bitches, that you got no females in your life, that no friends in your life, right? Because all the friends are here on Royal Instinct. The Amicis, right? Amici means friends in Italian. Okay, join the Amicis, join a group of friends, 100 kings. Okay, that we're not just going to be fucking there just chilling, right? We are going to change the world. We are going to take over, right? We are building alliances, 100 kingdoms. Okay, like if that is too scary for you, if you're too afraid to do it, great. But don't fucking complain about it, right? When it's too late, okay? Don't come to me and try to get into my island, right? With my people who supported me from the beginning, right? We are here to take over, okay? We will give the world a new choice, a new alternative, okay? But I don't want you to just be a person when oh, okay, I'll come live over there now. I want you to join, become a king, crown yourself king, right? Wake up, man. Don't just be a little bitch in the background, right? It is time for you to take what is yours. It's time for you to live a life of luxury, to enjoy life how it should be. Okay. This is first mover advantage, and I want you to be a part of it. If you want to be a part of it, if you understand what it is that I'm saying, if you want to understand what it is that I'm doing, if you want help, right, reach out to me. Let's work together. Let's see what we can do. Okay, I will help you discover your life purpose. I will help you discover the thing that makes you a king, the thing that you were born to do, right? The thing that you're meant to do in this life. Okay, let's discover that. Let's make you a point of authority.
Philosopher once said, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inured, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Or as John Steinbeck put it, the poor see themselves not as an exploited proletariat, but as temporarily embarrassed millionaires.
And that is the thing, man. Like most people think that, oh, one day it's gonna work for me, right? One day I'm gonna become a millionaire. One day I'm gonna hit it big. That meme stock I'm fucking investing in will make some sort of money. Okay, somebody will discover my talent. Let me tell you now. Okay, if you're not prepared to put yourself out there, if you're not prepared to fucking take what is yours, right? Like I am, I'm literally putting myself out there. I'm taking what is mine, right? Every day I'm showing up here, right? I'm sending out the message every day, okay? Right. And I'm not looking to become fucking famous on YouTube. I'm looking for 100 people out of 10 billion people in the world, right? To join me, to become kings, to establish a kingdom, right? I will establish my kingdom, you establish yours. We'll be kings side by side, okay? I don't want 100 followers. I want 100 people that I can be, call my friend, right? I want true friends, people who have your back, who understand what it is that you're all about, who are ready to risk it all in order to get all the glory, right? Not just people that you can just go, watch a fucking sports game with, drink a fucking beer with, right? That is not what we're about. We are here to conquer all. We are here to win. We are here to take what is ours. If you want to be a part of it, let me know. If not, go suck a dick. Go suck a fucking dick. But the true people, right? I've had many people already message me. Many people are reaching out. Many people are joining the Royal Alliance. Many people, I had one guy. He doesn't have much. He doesn't have much money in terms of money, but he's high in ambition and he's working fucking hard in the background. And I'm sure, in 6 months, 12 months time, he'll be literally raking in. He is building a great business, a a a therapy based business. He is helping many people with their problems, with their addictions in life. Whatever the thing is that you're supposed to do, right? Build a business around that, build a kingdom around it. Okay, be seen as a king, get all the rewards. That is what we are here to do. We are here to win, right? There's only a short window of opportunity left before it is too late. And I want you to be prepared. I want you to be ready. I want you to get it all, to live a life of luxury, because that is what we deserve. Okay, me, you, and the other 100 kings that we are here building together side by side. But that is it for today. Thank you very much, and I will see you tomorrow.